Hey traders, how's it going? What is going on? See if we can get some power hour action today. Haven't done an afternoon stream in a while. This will be fun. What an interesting day. All kinds of selling pressure. We are coming down to an interesting level though. We're getting a bounce here at London low and all this chop here from the Asia session. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get a little bounce here actually. Considering a long, honestly. I like all this chop here from Asia, and I like that it's bouncing at the London low, kind of a little liquidity grab and bounce. If this gets back above this initial balance low, I might consider taking a long here. Nish, what's up? Neil, how's it going, you guys? How was your trading day? Well wisher, what's up, man? I assume man. I shouldn't say that. I only say that because like 95% of my audience is male. That's just the trading world. How has your trading day been, you guys? You guys green? Red? Good? Bad? How did it go? How did things go? Yesterday you got your first prop firm challenge, and you don't know how to use the what? You don't know how to use the trading app on how to put stop losses. Uh-oh. You got to figure that out. That's why, in my opinion, paper trading, that's the value in paper trading. I don't think you'll learn a ton about trading, actual trading from paper trading and practice accounts just because you don't have the emotional buy-in on it. But it's good practice for learning how to like set limit orders and all that stuff. You got to figure that out before you take a trade. I'm glad you made it all back today though. Lesson learned, right? All right, you guys, like I was mentioning a couple minutes ago, I'm thinking of a long. I might scale in to a position, just take a little bit of a long here, and then once we get confirmation that we're passing back above this initial balance and kind of reclaiming, I can add to it. That's what I'm watching though. We're down here at an interesting level. Turn on the visible range volume profile and see. We did have this somewhat high volume node that we just bounced off of at 23,330. It's definitely been a down day though, so taking a long would be against the trend. And I could see us coming a little bit lower and grabbing this liquidity closer to like 306, 300 level. But so far off of the London low, that was a 20 plus point bounce, 20 to 30 point bounce. Well, good luck. What prop firm are you working with? MX FAFO? What challenge did you get? I think if I remember right, you were talking to me in chat in Instagram. Did you get the TradeDay growth account? Or which one are you doing? It could have been someone else I was talking to. Neil, you shouldn't be staring at the monitors. Have you not taken a break yet today? Staring at the charts all day? Or why do you say that? Higher time frame, this level right here at 330 is pretty good. I like that we bounced there. I think waiting for a reclaim of initial balance low would probably be the safer trade though. Okay, futures desk. I know we were talking about TradeDay and the futures desk. I wasn't sure which one you went with. Cool. Exciting, exciting. The good thing about futures desk too is they have the base hit. I don't remember what it's called. It's the base hit, but it's like an amplified base hit. I don't remember the name. Where you can do like 150% of your target, and it doesn't count against you with your consistency. So that's kind of cool. So I'm zoomed out to the higher time frame because I was taking a look at this visible range volume profile to kind of find out where some more support is. This 330 level is a pretty good level. And then zooming in, that's where the London low is. So it bounced right off of that. There's not a whole lot of volume behind the bounce though. Obviously, still not much volume in the market in general right now. But I like that that level's holding. There is some liquidity lower though. Like I see kind of this level and then of course this wick. It could come all the way down to Asia low, which has some confluence here because this blue line is yesterday's anchored VWAP from the New York session. So could come a little lower. If we start to see some buyers show up here, I'm watching for longs though. Well, Wisher, I loved that. Not only trading better, but sticking to your workout routine. Sticking to a workout routine thanks to my content. I don't really talk about workouts much, do I? I think I did one thing recently on Instagram. I think I posted it on YouTube Shorts too, just talking about discipline. And I used the example of, like, most of us don't have the discipline to walk past a box of Oreos and not eat 5. So what makes you think that you're going to be able to just walk away with a small red day and not keep trading? So I was talking about using the lockout feature on Project X. But other than that, I don't really talk a whole lot about working out, do I? Maverick, how did your day end up? I know you took a couple quick scalps and you said that you were kind of just mentally done. Mental capital was done. And you said you locked up that one. I didn't know if you had multiple accounts and you were trading anymore after that. Let's throw on our session volume profile. So here's kind of what I'm watching for you guys. I do like that this 330 level is holding, but I wouldn't want to take a long necessarily from here because it's still kind of chopping and it could come lower. I could see it coming down to 300. So if I'm going to take a long, I want to see it reclaim initial balance high or initial balance low and then continue higher. And there's a couple of reasons for that. One is, initial balance, that would make it a failed auction. But also the value area low for this current session is right in that same general area. So if we get back within the value area, I could see us at least returning to point of control up here at 429 if this thing starts to get bullish. That's what I'm watching for, and I feel like that would be the safer trade than taking a long from here. Well, I'm glad that you find that helpful, well-wisher. I feel thankful that, activity in general, working out, movement, being outside, eating healthy, like that's something that I grew up doing. My mom kind of instilled that in me. Not that we ate perfect, but she was always one of those moms that would like cook at home, and we almost never ate out, mostly to save money, but also for health reasons. And I played sports growing up. So it was kind of just who I was. Like I would say I identified as a person who worked out and ate healthy. So it wasn't really hard to maintain. It's not like some people who just grow up with a really sedentary lifestyle and they grew up eating processed foods and never really worked out. And now all of a sudden when they're adults and overweight, they have to try to suck it up and start working out. Thankfully, I didn't have to go through that. And yeah, signing up for the competitions just kind of gives me that carrot to chase and a reason to train, a reason to push. Similar to like if you're a runner. It's not very fun just to run. But if you like sign up for a half marathon or a 5K or whatever, it gives you a reason to train and something to train for. So I find it helpful and it's fun. It's definitely fun. Hey, Scott, how's it going? kind of watching this chop right now. Hopefully we get some sort of movement or direction. Usually around 3 o'clock-ish, a little more volume starts to come in. Yeah, I'm watching similar, Scott. We have London low, Asia low. This white line that I have is the anchored VWAP from the New York session yesterday. This gray shaded area is a higher time frame, high volume node, so quite a bit of support and resistance. Price action was in this area right at 330-ish. And then, yeah, Asia high is somewhere around here too. Right, if I turn it up, yep. Asia high was at 342. So kind of chopping around there. That's why I'm thinking if it holds, we could be looking for longs. I would prefer it to get back above initial balance high and value area low. Initial balance low. Sorry, I keep saying that. Initial balance low. To kind of get some confirmation that we're getting a bounce. I don't really want to short from here though, because it's not normal unless there's news. It's not normal to make a new low at the end of the day unless it's news driven, but anything could happen. Give me 1 second. You guys can probably hear my dog. He wants to go outside. What session indicator do I use for the sessions? Can I share the settings? Yeah. It's just called trading sessions. And then the settings, I have it for the Tokyo hours. So it's not actually from like the Globex Asia Open at 6 o'clock Eastern time. I personally put it at Tokyo just because that's when the volume actually typically shows up, but you could definitely change this time. And then I have the other one for London. And that's 8 a.m. London time. I'll be totally honest with you guys. Everyone, I've seen, like I've chat GPT'd it, I've talked to other traders, I've Googled it. The London times that people mark for the London hours is so different. Some people say like 2 a.m. or 2:30. So I don't know if this is right. If you have a different time that you use in the chat, let me know. So to be totally honest with you, what I do is I leave it at these hours. And then I'll go to, like, I'll turn it on. And then I kind of just use my own discretion. Like, I'll find the wick that makes sense. So let's say the London session, this highlighted area was actually closer to where my cursor is right here. I would probably still put the London low down here just because that's what makes sense in my brain. Because really, to me, marking off the sessions is just about the liquidity grab. Like, it's going to come down and grab that wick really quick and then come back up, or vice versa. It'll, like, hit the wick at the top and come back down. So I'm kind of just looking for the wick in that general session, if that makes sense. So that's really what I use it for. I've seen so many different people use it differently, honestly. Well, so far, like I said, it's holding this level, kind of just chopping around here. Not a whole lot of volume either way to like have a clear direction, but this is what I'm hoping for. We get a little bit of buyers showing up and we reclaim this level and start to move back up. That's what I'd be looking for a long. Yeah. So Scott, my issue with that is every indicator and like Google and traders, a lot of people have different hours for the actual session. So that was my reason for bringing it up. I don't use that a ton though. I'm kind of just looking for the high of the day, low of the day, and then some liquidity grabs. So if it's not in the exact right spot, that's okay. Because usually what I do is kind of just look left. Like you can see this liquidity here. It didn't exactly come down to here, but you can see there was lots of chop in this general region, and that's kind of where it bounced. So that means a lot more to me. That carries more weight to me looking left than having it come down to an actual line that I've labeled as Asia low. See if we start to get some volume coming in. Have this move up actually mean something. You guys in the chat, do you typically trade power hour? Or are you, some of you degens and you just trade all day? I definitely take advantage of the lockout feature in Project X to like force myself to walk away and go step outside or take a walk or like go do other projects, other things that I have going on. Because I can easily get pulled into the charts and just lose track of time. Overtrading is something that I've been working on for sure. So using that lockout feature in Project X where you can go up and like manually lock out for 2 hours or 90 minutes or whatever. It's definitely a good feature. You typically stop at 2, old Cracker Barrel. I would say avoid the midday, like maybe stop at, I don't know, 11 o'clock Central, 11:30-ish. And then if you feel like coming back and trading, come back around 2:30-ish. That midday is usually, I mean, I would say usually. It wasn't today. There was lots of movement midday, but that could have been helped because of Fed speakers. Kashkari was talking. Kashkari at least for the last year or so, since we've been talking about inflation and rate cuts and stuff, he's been the bearer of bad news. Every time he talks, it just dumps. He's always talking about how we need to wait until inflation goes down more and we need to slow down our rate cuts. He definitely is one of the more hawkish toned Fed speakers. Neil takes trades in the morning most of the time. That's the time to do it. My best trade setups in the afternoon are using the session volume profile. So that's kind of why I've drawn this up, because if we stay within our daily range and we're chopping around here and creating this high volume node, if we get above this high volume node and we get back into the value area, to me that could mean that we're going higher. It'll kind of be a magnet to like pull us back towards point of control. But if for some reason this just starts dumping, then for me, I wouldn't necessarily have a trade set up. That would kind of just be chasing it. Let's zoom out a little bit, see what's going on the higher time frame. It'll be interesting to see how today closes. Kind of give us an indication of what tomorrow will bring. This 23K level is holding pretty strong, but we've already tested it 3 times in the last couple months. So if for some reason we come all the way back down here again, I don't know how much longer it's going to hold. That was a big bounce we got yesterday, though. Anyone in the chat here use volume profile, specifically the visible range volume profile? Just ask you to place a trade. As soon as you get in, it'll start moving. Does it move in the opposite direction of you or in the same direction as you? We can use that information to plan ahead. You know, if I want it to go up and it's usually the opposite of you, then I'll ask you to take a short. So looking at the higher time frame, we're kind of in this in-between node right here. We're sitting at a low volume node. So higher time frame, if we do get bullish like over the next couple days, we have some resistance overhead. Definitely makes sense why we rejected up here at 500 today. You can see that high volume node sticking out right there. It's going to take some work to get past that. But we also have lots of support down here at 23,200-ish, 23,250. So I could see us chopping around here in this battle to see if bears or bulls win. But for now, for today, we get back above this consolidation zone, get a little break and retest. I think we could find some longs. Usually the opposite. All right, when I enter a long, then I'll let you know. You can start your short position. So one interesting thing about session volume profile is point of controls, the yellow dotted line in each of these. Point of controls are often tested. Like even if it's weeks later, usually price comes back down and tests those. And this one right here from Tuesday has not been tested. It doesn't mean it's going to happen today. Like I'm not saying it's going to dump another 120 points today. But it could happen this week. Especially if the market closes bearish today. I could see us coming down soon. And it's looking so far like it might close bearish if we don't get a bounce. We shall see. Looking at that 15-minute time frame, though, look at all those wicks on the downside. It's holding this level so far. This looks like a water slide to me. Did you guys ever, when you were kids, go sit outside and look at the clouds and like find shapes in the clouds? Like just lay in the grass when you were camping or like hanging out outside. I feel like kids don't do that as much anymore, but just lay in the grass and hang outside, look up at the clouds. And you can find like there's a pirate ship and there's an elephant and just make shapes out of the clouds. I know that was random, but that's kind of what made me think of when I saw this little like scoop. It looks like a water slide. Kids are busy with their phones now. Yep. It's tough. I have 3 little kids, and I try not to let them keep their faces in their phones. They're young enough that I can tell them when they're not allowed to have it and when they are allowed to have it. But it's a battle when all their friends have it, and you have to be the mean mom that says no. That's tough. And then there's times too that like I want a break and I just want them to leave me alone. So I'm like, just go play on your tablet. Like, it's horrible to say, but sometimes you just need that break. Like, I took a road trip on Monday. It was about a 4-hour drive up to a wedding and then a 4-hour drive back. And they definitely played on their Nintendo Switch and tablets and stuff on the drive. Because I was driving by myself. I was not going to survive a 4-hour road trip with them fighting in the back and talking about how they needed snacks and they had to go to the bathroom and they were bored and all that for 4 hours. I would have been an angry, like a ball of anxiety if I did that. So yeah, there's definitely a time and a place to allow them to zombie out on their devices. But I try to mix that up with sports and activities and playing outside and all of that. I put time limits on their devices. It's not easy though. They definitely don't play outside as much as I did when I was a kid. But I also didn't have access to that stuff. Like, my mom didn't have phones for us. And we didn't even own a PlayStation or any of that. We had my dad's old Atari. I would play Donkey Kong and I think it was Space Invaders. What's that one where you have like the little ships down below that just move left and right and you shoot up to the airplanes that are coming at you? I think it was called Space Invaders. Oh, and Frogger. That was my favorite game. Frogger and Donkey Kong. And Pong, I think, is the one where you have 2 paddles on the left and the right of the screen and the ball that like bounces back and forth and you have to move the paddle to catch the ball and bounce it. That was a fun one. Pitfall? I don't think I had that game. I didn't have cell phones that day. That's why I'm healthy and smart. Well, I think it's still possible to be healthy and smart. It's just harder. Definitely harder. But to be honest, it's not just the kids. I think as adults, we've lost the ability to just sit and look at the clouds too. Like, I know there's a lot of content out about that, like our lack of focus, our inability to be bored, just so like way overtaxed with dopamine and just all of that. Kind of going through a detox of stimulus is a good thing sometimes because we don't have the ability to just sit and be bored as adults too. So it's not just kids. I find that myself too. Like, even just sitting and watching TV with my family at night or something, which I hardly ever watch TV, but if we have like a movie night or something, it's hard to just sit there and watch the movie and not feel like I need to do 15 other things. So the inability to like sit and relax, that's a skill that you lose when there's so much overstimulation. Starting to get a little movement up. I do like the wicks on the underside of these candles and the fact that it's holding this chop zone over here, holding above it. I'm on the 15-minute chart right now just to kind of get a look at the higher time frame. It'll be interesting to see how this 15-minute candle closes. If it kind of closes above this level here at like 359, 360, and we get like a good solid candle closure above it, not a wick, that could be a good sign for those longs that I'm watching for. Scott, you still here? I know you were talking about watching this level. What are you thinking here? Yep, I agree, Maverick. It'll need more volume, but we do have power hour, or I shouldn't say, I don't know why people call it power hour. It's not really an hour. It's like a 20 to 30 minute time frame, depending on the day. But we do have end of the day push coming up here. Could see a little increase in volume. Usually around 2:30, 2:45-ish Central Time. But I'm watching this high volume node that it's making on the current session volume profile. A lot of times when there's a low volume node like this, it'll move through that and then possibly come back. So if it comes up, retests, and holds this level at 355, that would be a great sign for longs. Sour hour. That's one way to put it. Three minutes until this 15-minute candle closes. Let's see how it looks. What's going on, Charles? How's it going? Did not have this in your bingo card? Oh, man. Small world. Do you trade, Charles? Or did you just see me pop up on YouTube and you're like, hey, I know that person? Smart enough to know what you don't know with trading? That's awesome. Well, not getting a great close so far on this candle. Still got a minute left. Things could change. I'll throw my lines back on there. But this is kind of what I'm watching for if we do end up getting some volume to move it up. Break up above this level, get a little retest, and then enter long. White House fatigue. Yeah, and it's not even always negativity. It's just, I like your phrase of White House fatigue because that's fitting. It's like, you never know when they're going to announce some trade deal, or Trump is going to tweet something, or a Fed speaker is going to come out and say that we shouldn't be lowering rates because inflation's not down enough, or whatever. Like, it's just up and down. You never know what you're going to get. That's why I try not to be in a position when something like that's going on. I don't want to be stuck in the middle of their, like, whatever unknown announcement they're going to be talking about. All right, so that last 15-minute candle didn't close as strong as I would have hoped for, but we are getting a little bit of continuation up. Not a whole lot of volume supporting this move up, though, which I can't be too picky about because we are getting towards the end of the day when volume is low anyway. But we're sitting in this little low volume node over here, which typically it's kind of easy to move through these low volume nodes, and we could hit some resistance up here. So if we like come up and then maybe retest this 357 level and hold it, that's where I would be looking for some continuation higher. So far, so good, though. It's doing what I want it to do. I'm actually going to scale into this position a little bit now. Do I trade MYM, Dow Jones, or just ES and NQ? I actually just trade NQ. I don't trade ES. I stick with one, just one thing. So I'm scaling into this position. My first entry is 345. Let's see if we get back up to point of control. So far, scaling in. I will add to this position, though, if it does what I'm hoping it'll do, where it kind of reclaims this value area low and initial balance low, and then get some continuation higher. I will add to it. Why do you ask, Ram? Do you trade other stuff? All right, what does your YouTube name mean? What is KRRK? Because I really just want to call you Kirk now. All right, we're coming up to this initial balance low. Let's see if we break up above. Reclaim it. Give us the opportunity to add. You do MYM? Ah, okay. It's your initials. There we go. No, I'll call you Ram. I don't want to be making up names for people. I have seen that before. When ES and NQ aren't doing much, MYM just has like a super clean chart. One thing I've tried to avoid though is just having so many different things that I'm watching. Because within my strategy, I'm already watching volume, I'm watching like the initial balance, the opening range, I'm watching VWAP, and all of that, even on one chart, requires a lot of focus. And I want to try to do NQ right. Like I want to do a good job with it. So if I'm having that level of focus across 3 or 4 different instruments, I don't think I would be very successful. What do they say? Practice one kick 10,000 times instead of 10,000 different kicks or whatever it is. I'm probably butchering the saying, but that's kind of the idea. Becoming an expert in one thing, that's the goal. All right, so I'm on the 15-minute. I like that we're getting this buy up. If we do get a little pullback down to, I don't know, maybe 354-ish, 356, then I would add to my position. If not, then I'll just leave it. And then we'll see how much this pumps in power hour, see how much momentum we get behind this thing. But if we can get up to point of control at 430, that'd be nice. We are getting a little pullback to initial balance low. I like that. Another possible spot for adding. Let's see if it comes down a little further. There you go, Maverick, checking in your practice account. Look at you. Do you have a practice account with, in your trading view, or where do you have it? All right, I'm going to target 430. That's where point of control is. See if we get up there. What other obstacles do we have in our way? We do have New York anchored VWAP here at 416. So that would be a good spot where we can scale out a little bit. Maybe at this high volume node right here at 412. I'll set a an order there to scale out. It's definitely going to take some work to have this thing move higher. We got quite a bit of resistance. And not just from today, too. This shaded area that I have marked off, this is higher time frame resistance. I'll move this first order down a little bit to like 406 because we have VWAP right now is sitting at 408 for the session VWAP. And then the New York anchored VWAP is a little higher than that at like 415. So I'll probably set a couple more orders to take off there. So far, so good. If you guys haven't already, go hit that like button. I'd appreciate it. We got about 32 people watching, 14 likes. Helps my little YouTube channel grow. I actually have a lot of fun trading live. It's definitely been good for my trading, adding in some accountability. I feel like I've been so much more patient when I trade live. Probably because I don't want to make a fool out of myself. But like, I feel like I have a decent read on the market. Like I have a decent strategy. It's just the emotional regulation side of things that could be improved. So trading live helps with that, like 10x. Because it forces me to like talk through my reasoning for entry with you guys. Because people are asking like, why'd you enter? Why are you going long? What's your strategy? So being able to verbalize it forces me to have a reason of why I'm taking the trade and have all the confluences. And then, of course, the patience too. Because I don't want to like size up way too big and take a loss and then like blow an account in front of everyone and look like a fool. Yogis and monks can trade better. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. It's the emotional regulation side of things, right? Being able to quiet the inner demons. I actually read something recently, just a little meme about like Someone said, I got into trading for the money. I stayed in in trading because of the person I'm becoming, or something like that. But you guys probably all understand that. Like, trading just makes you improve on all the faults that you might have, whether it's greed or revenge or lack of patience or just any of those things that you might have just as a human in general. Trading is going to magnify that, and it's going to be a problem if you don't fix it. All right, moving on up. Definitely getting a closure back within that initial balance. Point of control is where I have my final target set right now. I'm scaling out along the way. I might possibly take most of it off at point of control and just leave a runner if this thing continues bullish, but that's a pretty big move so far. I think at this point, I'm going to trail my stop loss probably to value area low or initial balance low, somewhere around here at 369. Because if it breaks back below initial balance low or value area low, that's a bad sign. Then my trade idea is wrong. So I'll move it up here to at least lock in some profits. And then, like I said, I'll leave a runner. I'll take off another good portion of it here at point of control. And we'll see how much we can squeeze out of this thing. Let me make sure VWAP hasn't moved. Where are we at? 408 on VWAP. I have my order set at 406. This makes me think of something that I saw on Instagram a couple days ago. It was a reel. It was a guy running up to a finish line and like stopping at the finish line and going, like making a little face and then turning around and running the other direction. And the caption on it said like, this is what the candle does when it comes to my take profit or something like that. But yeah, that's happened plenty of times. It made me laugh. All right, it's chopping around or kind of stuck below VWAP at this point, but not rejecting strongly at this point, not showing signs of a rejection yet. I don't want to say it's not going to happen, but so far so good. I like it still. My next TP is up here at the New York anchored VWAP. I have it at 416. Let's see if it keeps going. Anchored VWAP and then point of control. That's the reason for these two sell orders. And then I just randomly have this placed up here. We'll see what I want to put for final take profit. We do have, like, if this breaks past point of control, value area high for the session is sitting at the initial balance high. So that could be a decent final target. But we got a lot of work to get through, a lot of resistance to get through to get up there. All right. Final 10 minutes of the market. This is where the fun begins. Start scaling out here. So I'll set another order at 450, 473. Let's see how bullish this thing gets. That was a nice little pump. See if we get some continuation here. Initial balance high is at 472. Yep, MOC, that's definitely what's happening right now. That is definitely a gamble, though. Like, I would not recommend entering a position right at that time. The only reason I'm still in this trade is because I was already in it and my stop loss is in profit. So, wouldn't be smart to be like entering right at MOCs. In my opinion. I mean, if you want to gamble your account, go for it. Point of control moved down a little bit. That's interesting. So it broke through. Well, point of control on the 1 minute chart. There we go. So it hit my order there. My next target is, where do I have it? 448 and 461. How crazy would that be if we get all the way back to initial balance high? That would be wild. We might not get that much more of a push. We only have about 7 minutes left. I'll start trailing my stop loss a little bit tighter. I don't want to let it go any further down. That might be all the fun we get. You out of here, Ram? Have a good one. I'll be back here tomorrow at New York Open if you want to come join us. And if you haven't already, join the Discord too. If you would like. Have a good one. See you, Maverick. Have a great one. See you tomorrow. There you go, Evan. You got in at 375. Cool. Yeah, I entered most of my position down here in this chop since it was holding this key level. And it was just a good risk to reward for it to hold. And then after it broke that consolidation and reclaimed initial balance high, I added to my position. Initial balance low. Geez, I keep saying that. Once it reclaimed initial balance low, I added to my position. So my average was at 369. And I've been scaling out along the way. Like I took a couple off at VWAP and then anchored VWAP. I took one off at point of control and then just kind of scaling out to see how much we can get out of this thing. Final target is up towards initial balance high, but who knows if it actually makes it that high. That's how I like to trade though. When I find a good trade, I'll secure some profits to make sure that I'm green, but I don't want to sell it too early. I'd rather find like one or two really good trades and hold them and scale out. I'm not a fan of having to find like multiple entries, multiple positions. That's just my style though, the way I trade. So where is VWAP? We got VWAP sitting here. So as far as stop loss, I'll move it down to like 402-ish. Don't want to let it get too much further than that. This thing kind of stalled out for a little bit. I thought that we might have gotten everything we were going to get out of MOCs. But the slow grind up continues. I'm glad you found it encouraging, Ram. See you tomorrow. Kind of chopping around point of control still. We have this big resistance here up at like 23,450, which was where we were stuck all morning, like pre-New York. That's why my next target is set there at 450-ish. And then 361. That was kind of just because we have these wicks here. Dang, you guys. So if you were watching earlier, I was talking about how the market is kind of closing bearish. But that's quite a finish. Very interesting close. See if it goes up to IB high and then leave a runner. This is wild, you guys. Hello, hello. You thought I was done for the day. I was. On my funded account, I finished up for the day. This is my Lucid challenge that I was telling you I was working on. Looks like it might not make it all the way up to IB high. Kind of finally starting to reject there. Can you sue your job for calling you and missing the trade? I don't know how well that would go over. Email your boss and be like, excuse me, you just cost me $400 because I was about to enter this trade while I was supposed to be working your job. Yeah, I don't know how much they would like that. They might be a little upset with you. This is an insane close, you guys. I really thought that if we were going to finish down here in this 23,350 range, that there was going to be more downside tomorrow, but I don't know anymore. We definitely held that level. Interesting times. Are any of you guys crypto people? I haven't looked recently. What's Bitcoin and all that at? Yeah. Bitcoin's kind of staying in the same spot today, but Ethereum and a lot of other stuff is up too. Kind of makes sense. All right, it looks like we're getting stuck below initial balance high. So I'm going to go ahead and sell one. I'll set the final one at initial balance high. Just for the fun of it. And then I'm going to trail my stop loss pretty tight up here. And we'll just play a game of chicken. See which one gets hit first. Is it going to hit my profit target or is it going to hit my stop loss? Who's going to win? It's kind of fun coming on and trading Power Hour. Get to see some new names I haven't seen before. All right, place your bets. What do you guys think? Is it going to actually go up to IB high and hit my profit target? Or is it going to hit my trailing stop loss? What do you guys vote? What do you think? It looks like it'll hit it. I hope so. It's going to retrace 50% of the candle and then pump again. Well, I'll be safe. If it retraces 50% of the candle, then I'll be out in profit. I'm good with that. But I doubt all that's going to happen since the market's already closed. That would just be wild. I guess Trump could come on and tweet something. I don't know. Anything could happen. Almost there. Like 12 points away. Are we going to make it? I feel like it's losing steam. I don't know if it's going to make it. We are holding above this like resistance level of 357-ish. Just barely. I don't know if it has enough steam to make it higher though. Let's move to the 2-minute. Trail this up a little bit higher. Come on, baby, you're almost there. My target is slightly above pre-market high. Yeah, I had it set at IB high. So initial balance high is at 473. So I have it just slightly under that, I think. Right about there is IB high, 471. That's all right though. Honestly, at this point, I don't care. Like, I usually just leave a runner because I'm like, what the heck? Why not? The difference between the two is $60. I'd be okay either way. It wouldn't hurt my feelings if we came down and hit my stop loss. Just kind of having fun with the runner to see how much we can squeeze out of this position. But now that we're like 10 minutes after the close, this is usually when it kind of just stays in a tiny little like 10-point range. So it might not even get up there. Might be worth it just to close it at this point. Call it a day. Yep, I think that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, Joe, I agree. I think I'm just going to close it out. I don't want to sit here for the next 30 minutes and like wait for an extra $30 when it might not even get that high. All right, close it out. Done. For NFP, what's your read, short or long? Is that what tomorrow's news is? Is NFP tomorrow? I know there is news tomorrow. I don't remember what it is. So I want to make sure that's what you're talking about. No, tomorrow is employment change, trade balance, and initial jobless claims. And then PMI. We have lots of stuff tomorrow, you guys. Man. Be prepared. So, Sharon, as far as tomorrow, I actually do post my trade plan each night for the following day. So I share my bullish scenario and my bearish scenario. I always make an if-then scenario. Like if it holds above this level, then I'd be looking for longs. If it falls below this level, then I'd be looking for shorts. So I post all of that in my Discord. So if you haven't joined already, feel free to join the Discord. It's free. And I'm not trying to sell you a course or anything like that. It's just a group of people that are trading and trying to improve. But just to kind of give you an off-the-cuff look, the fact that we had such a strong close, I like that. So I would probably be looking for longs tomorrow, assuming that we held above. Again, this is a rough estimate. I would have to like really analyze levels and stuff and give you a good clear trading plan. But I mean, if we held somewhere above like 350 to 360-ish, I would probably be looking for longs tomorrow. If we dropped below that level, I could definitely see us coming lower. That's kind of just my off-the-cuff thought just by looking at the charts right now. And my reasoning for eyeing that level is you can see my cursor right here. This is a fair value gap from the 1 hour, so I could see us coming back down to this level at 366. There's that fair value gap on the current 1 hour candle. And then if you look left, we have this wick, and then we have this support right here. So that's a decent level to hold. if we get below that, then I could see us coming quite a bit lower. As far as targets lower, like I was saying earlier on the stream, we have this untested point of control down here at 23,200, 208-ish. So if we break below some of these key levels, I could see that area being a significant area to test. So yeah, we'll see what comes tomorrow. If you're interested in checking out my trading plan, join the Discord, and I'll be sharing that later tonight in the next couple of hours. But other than that, I'll be signing off. I appreciate you guys joining me. Hit that like button on the way out if you haven't already, and then subscribe and join the Discord so you can stay a part of what we're doing here. But it was fun trading with you guys. Have a good one. Take care.